And joining us this evening on debate number 1 is the opposition running away from a debate in Parliament. I'm joined by Dr. Sambit, Patra, National Spokesperson of the BJP, joining me live from Delhi. Sunil, Alagh, Chairman of SKA Advisors, joining me live from Mumbai. MR Venkatesh, Chartered Accountant and Policy Analyst, also joining me live from Delhi. They are taking on Gaurav, Bhatia, National President of the Legal Wing and Spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, joining me live from Delhi. Pavan, Verma, Senior Leader and former Member of Parliament of the Rajya Sabha from the JDU. And also in just a bit from now, we will be joined by MB Rajesh, Member of Parliament of the Lok Sabha from the CPIM. Pavan, Verma, my first question to you, on a day that the opposition was having a good run in the Rajya Sabha, former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh spoke. He tore apart the government and the treasury benches. He called it organized loot and legal plunder. That's what he called the demonetisation drive. On such a day, why did the opposition let go of the upper hand that they had got in Rajya Sabha on the treasury benches? It's almost like saying that on a day Sachin Tendulkar and Sehwag were batting and got a 50 each before lunch. It's the batting side saying, let's call off the match for bad light. Why would you do something like that on a day you were having a good run in the Rajya Sabha?
No, if you are going to give cricketing analogies, let me first say that at least our position is that Parliament should see debate and not disruption. But I think this syndrome that we saw today can be best explained as an original mistake and a subsequent distortion. To my mind, the original mistake was that when the debate began on such a flamboyant issue where the entire country was affected and there was a great deal of unrest and discontent, and Parliament is the forum to voice it, and the opposition was doing it. For some reason, which frankly mystify me, the Prime Minister decided not to participate in the debate. On the first day a debate was held, he was absent. He was within the premises of Parliament, but he didn't attend the debate. Now, I believe that under the best practices of parliamentary democracy, the Prime Minister should have attended, particularly in circumstances where he had taken ownership of this initiative. He had announced it personally, and he would have been the best person to give to the Rajya Sabha a sense that this debate is going to have both meaning and substance, with the Prime Minister's presence assuring it. He absented himself. Subsequently, I think what has followed, Navika, is a trust deficit. The Prime Minister did not come for several days, standing on prestige. The opposition insisted that the debate must take place when the Prime Minister is present. Today, when he did come and was there for an hour,
Mr. Pavan Verma, is today he was in the House. Today he was in the House. The government gave an assurance that the Prime Minister would be there. Yesterday he was in Lok Sabha. The House was not in order. He was not, obviously in a position to speak. Today he appeared in the Rajya Sabha. He sat through at least 1 hour of debates.
I was
Why
just
did the
completing
let
that
go
point.
of that opportunity?
When you asked me the question, I was just completing that point, and I've started by saying that yes, indeed, today the debate could have continued. But by now there has occurred a trust deficit based on a previous 1 week where, in spite of the united demand of the opposition on an issue where indeed his presence was vital if not pivotal, the Prime Minister chose to absent himself. So when he did come today and left merely after 1 hour on a day which was actually his day for question hour, the opposition was not fully convinced perhaps that he will stay and participate in the debate in a meaningful manner and may just come towards the end to give a reply. I think that is the real reason for the current impasse, that there was an original mistake in which, for me, frankly, I believe it was in the BJP's interest to ensure that the Prime Minister is there, quite apart from it being in the best traditions of parliamentary democracy. But he chose to make it a prestige point. He stayed away. He stayed away.
But prestige point is also being made by the opposition. The prestige point is also being made by the opposition. And let me get in Gaurav Bhatia of the Samajwadi Party in. Gaurav Bhatia, Prestige and ego battles, that's what Parliament has become. You know, till yesterday it was the Treasury benches who were probably standing on ceremony, not allowing the Prime Minister to come in till the House was in order. Today he was in the House, yesterday he was in Lok Sabha, today he was in Rajya Sabha, yet there was no debate. Gaurav Bhatia, how do you describe the action of your own MP Akshay Yadav, who actually tore pieces of paper and threw them at the Speaker? Is that what Parliament is really all about? Is that the level of debate that you want for the common sufferings that you so-called want to highlight in Parliament? Will it be done by your members of Parliament, tearing pieces of paper and throwing them at the Speaker?
Navika, first of all, I think it's good that we are discussing whether the Parliament should be allowed to function or not, and whether obstructing the Parliament is a good measure. I would say that the BJP has been a master in obstructing the Parliament when they were in the opposition benches, and today probably they are suffering the worst because of that, because they failed to approach the other political parties. They failed to create an atmosphere of trust, as Mr. Pavan Verma also mentioned. And I think this issue concerns every common man in the country. And we all know that, including the Supreme Court of India, everyone has been critical of the way this policy has been implemented, and the Supreme Court reprimanded the government also. Now, what are the opposition parties demanding? Let us at least discuss that. Since the announcement was also made by the Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi.
No, you're not answering my question, Gaurav Bhatia.
The RBI governor.
You are not answering the question that I raised first. First, answer the question of Akshay Yadav.
I will answer that also.
Is that parliamentary decorum? What happened in Lok Sabha today?
I will answer. When I complete my entire reply, you will find the answer. Allow me some time. More important point is to be made here, that why are we asking the Prime Minister to reply and listen? It has been more than a week. Mr. Ram Gopal Yadav is the leader of Samajwadi Party. He spoke. We demanded the Prime Minister should respond. He was not there in the Parliament. Now, the Finance Minister did not make this announcement. The Governor of the RBI did not make this announcement. The onus directly lies on the Prime Minister to come and satisfy the opposition that the scheme has been implemented properly, and the suggestion.
Another cricketing analogy.
And that is not
Gaurav Bhatia. Another cricketing analogy.
Now,
Gaurav Bhatia. Let me ask you this.
Answering your
if it is a captain who comes out for the toss, does it mean that it is only the captain who bats bowls and keeps wickets? Or is it the team's job? Who asks the questions of the batsman, the bowler?
No.
Who takes guard, the opener? So it's a team job. So if the team is coming out, to answer the question, sir, between you and Mr. Pavan Verma, Gaurav Bhatia, you have very clearly come out and said it is about prestige, it is about ego, it is about the fact that they blocked the house when they were in opposition. So let them get a taste of their own medicine. We will obstruct. So the people don't matter. Our prestige squaring equations matter.
I will answer you in your terms. Listen to me now. Yes. Have you ever seen a cricket team where one person is the wicket keeper, the bowler and the fielder?
No, we haven't.
BJP is like that cricket team.
No, how? You are deeming it like that. He said he was a captain who made the announcement, and then he said let the team that is implementing the fort take the questions, but you are not ready to listen to the Finance Minister too. The opposition is not ready to listen to the Finance Minister too. Sambit Patra.
Yes, for very, very valid reasons. We want the Prime Minister
Gaurav,
to respond to our questions, to our suggestions.
Gaurav, don't be agitated.
It has been
allow
10
others
days
to speak.
that we have been making demands, and this government has been
where the demand is just you want to stand on one foot and try and make a point that our ego is bigger than yours, and we'll prove an ego point. People don't matter. The real issues don't matter. Questions, answers to questions don't matter, but they matter to us. Not this ego battle. Sambit Patra and then M.R. Venkatesh. Sambit Patra.
Are we not justified?
Sambit Patra. No, sir, you're not justified in tearing the paper and throwing. Your MP is not justified in tearing pieces of paper and throwing it at the chair and then coming out and saying, if required, I'll do it again. There is no justification for that kind of behavior, sir, for a member of Parliament. There is no justification. There is no justification, sir, for a member of parliament to behave in such a manner.
I would request Gaurav Bhatia not to disrupt the debate and allow us to have a smooth debate.
Gaurav, Sambit Patra. Gaurav, Sambit Patra. Gaurav, Sambit Patra.
Becoming the spokesperson.
Gaurav, going across to Sambit Patra.
Let the BJP answer for them.
Yeah, I'm going across to Dr. Patra. I'm going across to Dr. Patra.
You may go across to Mr. Sambit Patra.
Yes.
But the point that we are making, don't try to be the
Gaurav,
BJP
cool down.
Gaurav.
If we are asking the Prime Minister,
Gaurav,
there are valid
we don't have to do that, Gaurav Bhatia. Gaurav Bhatia, the only question that we asked you, the only question that everybody in this country wants to ask you today, Gaurav Bhatia, is why did Akshay Yadav behave in the manner that he did? Tearing pieces of paper and throwing them at the chair.
Navika,
is this, you've given a long speech.
So
you've
what are you
given
doing till now?
Gaurav Bhatia,
What are you doing till now? You answering that question
that we asked you, which we didn't get an answer to. You gave a long speech, no answer to this question. So Gaurav Bhatia, answer that question before I go across to Dr. Sambit Patra.
Yes, I am answering. Now, yeah, I will answer that question also. I think the chair deserves all respect. And every member of parliament should treat the chair with respect. He is a young member of parliament, and I am sure that he also realizes that this is not something that he would be doing in the
he
future.
Doesn't.
And I think every
No, he doesn't, because he came out and he said, if required, he would do it again. Is there a system of any disciplinary action within your party system for taking on young members of parliament who are representing the country, who are representing the youth of this country when they behave like this in parliament?
I don't want to remind you of what has happened in the parliament in the past, but I see it as no justification. I am saying Mr. Akshay also has all the respect for the chair, and the chair ought to be respected, and it will be respected. Yeah, so I think that answers your question.
Right, Sambit Patra. Sambit Patra.
Anand, to begin with, since there has been a lot of cricket talks tonight in the debate, let me begin by a cricket talk myself, saying that there is a fixed match going on in the opposition party. Our good friend and a very versatile orator, Pavan Verma, began by saying that there was an original mistake and subsequent disruption, to which I would say absolutely wrong. Disruption was the design of the opposition. Originally, the intention of the government, which is still now, was to curb black money, is to curb black money, so it was the rightful decision. You should have participated in the debate, but no, you did not, because disruption was right in the mind from the very beginning. I'll give you an example. About 3 days from now, 3 days from now when we had this unfortunate train accident, do you remember when the rail minister got up to give a statement, forget the demonetization issue, the rail minister was to give out a condolence statement, and he was to read out a statement for the reason of the accident as to what the government has done for the accident. There was hooting on the house. There was hooting on the rail minister. The rail minister was not allowed to speak, and the rail minister, in fact, had to shout to make himself audible. Was that the kind of behavior that the country expected out of an opposition? You had an issue on demonetization. Well, yes, please carry on with that issue. But you, in fact, insulted the people who died in this rail accident by not allowing the rail minister to speak, and you say that you do not want disruption. Secondly, as far as monumental failure is concerned, opposition's behavior this time is a monumental failure. And I'll tell you, when history of India's economy would be written years from today, and when we would judge, people would judge as to which political party was standing in the war against black money, on which side, it's an unfortunate thing that most of the opposition would be standing on the wrong side. I would plead you tonight that please stand on the right side if you want to be judged in the most rightful manner. And as far as the statement of Dr. Manmohan Singh is concerned, due respect, he is a senior politician, he is a former Prime Minister of India. But Mr. Manmohan Singh, in fact, saying that all this was nothing but organized loot, I mean, it's absolutely amusing. A man who presided over a government, under his very nose, 2G, CWG, Commonwealth took place. And when he was asked this question on the floor of the parliament,
but he made a
the
pertinent
historic
point,
answer
sir.
of Manmohan Singh
No,
was,
Dr. Patra, Dr. Patra, you moved to the organized loot and legalized plunder, but you forgot the monumental mismanagement, which is a pain point with your government, sir. It is a pain point with the government because till date you cannot confidently say that you're in control of this entire demonetization exercise, and that's the question we would have liked to be debated, and we would have liked to see the finance minister and the prime minister answer, but that was not to happen.
Respond?
That was not to happen. Pavan Verma, I'm just going to bring in our other panelists also. They've all come in. The left also joins us. MB Rajesh joins us.
Very quick response to my friend Sambit.
All right, I'm just, all right, Pavan Verma, before I go to MR Venkatesh and Sunil Alagh, who've been very patient all along.
30 seconds. 30 seconds. There is no excuse which can justify, a breach of parliamentary decorum. But that is a lesson which is equally applicable to the BJP as it is to the opposition. And if it is not good parliamentary practice to disrupt the House, and Mr. Patra is giving us a lecture on what happened when Mr. Suresh Prabhu spoke, I ask him and I ask you and your audience, is it not best parliamentary practice for a Prime Minister who bows before the Parliament when he enters the first time, and in accordance with all parliamentary tradition, to absent himself from the House when a debate of this importance is taking place? I say to you,
is it not
David Cameron not have come for the debate on Brexit?
Pavan Verma, the question is it not so unfair that the Prime Minister makes himself present in the House and yet there is disruption? And you're just harping on one single point that make him sit the whole day to listen to all of us. Otherwise, we will not have a debate. How is that sensible in any way? And how is that responsible of the opposition? Because they are there for the people, sir. They are not there to make the Prime Minister sit as per their whims and fancies. Sir, I have to move on. Sunil Alagh.
I am restraining myself, Anand. I am restraining myself from saying that you are playing the role of the BJP spokesperson, because you are not allowing me to speak.
Sir, I am playing the role of the person who is upset with the opposition because we want the questions to be asked of the government, and the opposition is not doing so. They are more busy in saying who's sitting where and whether the Prime Minister is sitting in the House or not, because my biggest concerns are of the common man and whether this government is on top of the demonetization exercise or not. And that's the concern. That's the concern. Sunil Alagh, that's the concern that the opposition does not feel that needs to be answered, and that answer needs to be forced out of the government. It's not happening. Sunil Alagh.
I was completing
one second,
a point. Let me complete
Pavan,
it. I was just saying
listen.
that it is also parliamentary democracy's best tradition for the Prime Minister not to make it a prestige point to absent himself from Parliament.
It would have been parliamentary democracy and best tradition had the opposition said, we are more interested in getting the answers of the government rather than insisting the presence of one individual or the other. Sunil Alagh.
Mr. Pavan Verma,
you are not the spokesman of the BJP.
Mr. Pavan Verma, the question is, there is no parliamentary rule, there is no rule in Rajya Sabha which says any minister has to sit through 24 speakers.
I said
which
best
still remain. The Prime Minister
practices.
sat for an hour.
Navika, do you follow what I said in
Mr.
plain
Pavan
English?
Verma. But there was an assurance. The best parliamentary practices.
Not legally.
So there are no best parliamentary practices for the opposition,
just a small point to you. Humbly submit. I humbly submit a small point to you, Mr. Pavan Verma.
Both sides are guilty.
Best parliamentary practices also say that when there is an assurance given by the leader of the House, the leader of the House in this case was Arun Jaitley, the finance minister. He gave an assurance to the House that the Prime Minister would come, he would intervene, and he would... But when he was in Lok Sabha, what was the opposition doing yesterday?
Hold up Parliament.
Sir, Pavan Verma,
but the opposition kept changing goalposts. The opposition kept changing goalposts, Mr. Pavan Verma. Mr. Pavan Verma, the opposition kept changing goalposts. One day they said the Prime Minister should appear in the Parliament and he should sit through the debate. The next day the issue was that there should be obituary references to the 60-65 people who have lost their lives since the demonetization drive. On the third day he says, why talk in Lok Sabha, why not in Rajya Sabha? So the opposition was shifting goalposts.
And Navika, they've done it even now. And Pavan Verma did it just now, Navika. He just did it now because he just said, why wasn't the Prime Minister present? And when you said that the leader of the opposition gave the assurance that the Prime Minister will make an intervention, he said after how many days? So this is what is happening. For whatever it is, you just want to counter. Sir, I'm just going to bring in our other panelists, MR Venkatesh and Sunil Alagh. Sunil Alagh.
Of a holding debate. In the interest of the best practices of
Pavan, can I just 1 second now? Pavan,
other guests as well.
Navika,
Other panelists who have been waiting to talk.
Look,
Sunil Alagh,
1 second.
Is this an ego battle between the defensive benches and the opposition?
Yeah. No, look, as far as I'm concerned, Pavan Verma makes a point which is valid of all parliamentarian stuff. We have actually designed our parliament on the basis of the English system. Let anyone dare to speak, get up against the speaker, forget about throwing paper or anything. There you will have guards who will come in and take him out. Our parliamentary system has been destroyed by every single party. Now to say BJP did it, so we'll do it, you did it, it's a new India and a young India which wants everybody to behave. And it's about time that happened. All right. He's got a point that the Prime Minister should have come earlier. Fine, he didn't come earlier, he's come now. Now the very fact, let me just finish now because after that you all have been dominating the debate. All I'm saying is that the longer you all take to debate in Parliament, the better it becomes for the BJP because the situation of demonetisation and all the queues will ease, and by which time there will be no serious debate. It's about time that you all got in and debated it. 1 second, Pavan. All I'm saying is, why are you all also sitting on your ego until Mr. Modi doesn't give a word? Mr. Jaitley is speaking, Mr. Modi is right next to him. Anytime you don't agree with what Mr. Jaitley said, Mr. Modi will get up and defend him. Why are you not letting the debate take place? That's the only point I want to ask. Everybody in the country wants to see a parliament in the Rajya Sabha. In the Rajya Sabha, this is happening.
MP
This is
Rajesh,
crazy.
who's a young member
Absolutely
of Parliament
crazy.
from the Lok Sabha, MP Rajesh, the question is, Sitaram Yechuri in 2012 himself said that there should be at least 100 mandatory sittings of the Parliament. And that should be a must for every parliamentarian in a year so that there are debates, so that there is discussion, so that people's issues can be raised in the House. But what is the left doing in Parliament today? The Prime Minister comes to the House, there's no debate. There is a debate for first debate on day 1, then 5 days of a washout. On the 6th day when the Prime Minister comes again 1 hour of debate and then a complete washout. Is this the way Parliament should be run, MP Rajesh?
Yes, Sitaram Yechuri had said that, and that is our party's stated position, and this continues to be our position. Left has never interrupted Parliament, left has never disrupted parliamentary proceedings, and left has always behaved in a proper and responsible manner.
Sitaram Yechuri 2 days ago. MP Rajesh, Sitaram Yechuri 2 days ago stalled Parliament, interrupted the debate, raised the issue of obituary references to 60-65 people who have died since the demonetisation drive. First it was Prime Minister should be present, then the goalpost was that obituary references should be made. It was just one excuse after another to stall Parliament. You are saying the left has never disrupted Parliament?
See, please let me complete. See, this announcement was made by the Prime Minister, and our position is that since this announcement was made by the Prime Minister, and since this is such a serious issue which has affected the lives of millions of people in our country, the Prime Minister has the responsibility to reply to the debate. Why the Prime Minister is remain silent? He is remaining silent. And the Prime Minister, when the Parliament is in session, the Prime Minister is not ready to speak up his mind in Parliament, to respond to the issues raised by members of Parliament on the floor of the House.
How do you know that the Prime Minister was not ready to speak? Sir, you cannot make incorrect statements and get away with it, sir. You have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to make the right representation. Sir, please answer this. Please answer this. Please answer this. Do you know that the Prime Minister is not going to speak? Do you know that the Prime Minister will not make an intervention? How do you know that? Had you allowed the debate to happen and the discussion to happen on day 1 and 2, the Prime Minister would have made his intervention then.
Yes, when you are raising the issue of throwing papers to Speaker.
MB Rajesh, are you going to respond to the question, MB Rajesh?
That should not have
MB
happened.
Rajesh, will the left do the right thing by responding to the right questions and asking the right questions? May I ask you this, sir? May I ask you this? Did any point? So please don't make me say things so that you will listen. I am telling you, sir. I am asking you a straightforward question. At any point did the Prime Minister say he will not speak? At any time, did the Treasury benches or the leader of the House say that the Prime Minister will not appear in the House? At any point, did the government say that the Prime Minister will not answer the questions? At what point did they say that? You and the rest of the opposition is only insisting that we want the Prime Minister to sit right through the discussion and the debate, so make him sit there. What kind of an ego trip is the opposition on? MR Venkatesh.
So the question is to me or somebody else?
Anand, I can understand whenever the Prime Minister, whenever the Prime Minister comes to the House, the TRP ratings of all channel goes up, and these people want the Prime Minister to be there simply because they want the TRP to go up and they want their speeches to be heard. Otherwise, nobody is going to listen, including Mr. Yechuri's speech was vacuous. Two. When Mr. Manmohan Singh talks about monumental mismanagement and organized plunder, one does not know whether he is talking about 2G scam or Colgate. Because under his nose these two things happened, and in Colgate he was the coal minister, and let us be very clear that his name has not yet been cleared, so let him stop pontificating. And he has been presiding over several loots in this country, and this black money problem arises directly because of 10 years of his mismanagement. As far as the third thing is concerned, when Trinamool, SP, BSP, Congress, Aam Aadmi Party, leftists all come together, the gut feeling is something good is happening to this country. That is why these chaps are all together, and that is what it is. Fourth, Mr. Modi is a very good debater, and the moment he is going to start debating, these people know that it is going to be finito for them.
Gaurav.
And lastly, please let me complete. Gaurav, I didn't interrupt you.
Yeah.
Let me fully complete. And last point. Now, Mr. Modi, even if he doesn't speak, he is entitled to his silence. You cannot say that this Prime Minister must listen to what all we say and then say that he must also speak. Both these things cannot go on, sir. Of course, I understand the Prime Minister will interfere and intervene at an appropriate time. You cannot force the Prime Minister to speak on your terms. That is not democracy.
That's the point, Gaurav Bhatia. The Prime Minister of the country can choose his time for his intervention. Why is the opposition trying to dictate his presence to listen to the 24 speakers who still remain to speak in the Rajya Sabha? How can you dictate those terms to any minister, and least of all the Prime Minister?
You know, I find it very, very surprising that there are no tough questions for the BJP, and it seems all the questions are meant for other opposition parties. And it is very, amusing that a very genuine political demand by the opposition party
in the parliament.
Have a prime
we are not
minister.
Stopping you. You are a privileged member of the parliament. Go and ask it in the parliament.
In between, like always. You want to speak, you speak.
No, you interrupted. I'm paying you in your same coin. No, you interrupted me.
I did not. I waited for my turn.
No, this is not parliament, sir. Your people in the parliament don't know to debate. They only throw papers.
Okay,
that is why you come to the TV and now say that Navika is not asking tough questions. It is not Navika's job. It is not Navika's job.
Make his
you
point.
Please.
Gaurav Bhatia, you know, on
no,
a
Navika,
day,
I am not used to this. See, no, Navika, first listen to me. Let us have the terms of the debate
make
clear.
Your point. I'm
Here
coming
is a
to you
political
only,
analyst.
Gaurav Bhatia. Don't be on the back
just wait. Navika, first listen to me.
I'm coming to you.
First, have the patience to listen to me.
On.
Listen to me first. I am raising an objection. You call a political analyst who leans towards the BJP always. He is a BJP sympathizer. He is not a political analyst, first of all. And my strong objection to that. Call him as a BJP sympathizer, not as a political analyst. I have never seen Mr. Venkatesh criticize the government ever.
Gaurav Bhatia, on your point of objection, since you are a lawyer,
to listen
Gaurav
to
Bhatia,
from
since
Mr.
you are a
Venkatesh.
lawyer, let
What
me
is
give
Mr.
you a
Venkatesh
logical
doing in
legal
this debate?
response to that
He
question.
has a
This
biased
is
approach.
a six-member
He will always
panel.
praise what Mr. Modi
Gaurav
does.
Bhatia,
And I
listen to
raise
me.
strong
This is
objection
a
to that.
six-member
You
panel.
introduce him next time.
This
Now
is
you
a
listen to
six-member
me.
panel.
No,
I
Navika,
have three
you
members
listen to
from
me
the
now.
opposition.
You next time.
No, Gaurav Bhatia, you
don't
raised an
next
objection.
Next time.
You raised an objection. Let me respond to that before I allow you to answer. My reply to your objection is, this is an evenly poised panel. There are three members from the opposition. I have Gaurav Bhatia, Pavan Verma as well as MB Rajesh representing the opposition. And I have Dr. Sambit Patra, MR Venkatesh leaning towards the BJP and Sunil Alagh who supports this issue on one side. So it's 3 versus 3. It's an evenly poised debate. Now you can make your point.
So why do you
now you can make your point.
Gaurav Bhatia.
Once I put
Gaurav
on
Bhatia.
that this is an evenly poised debate.
Gaurav Bhatia, your objection has been noted.
In every debate he comes.
Gaurav Bhatia, your objection has been noted. It is under consideration, sir. May we carry on with the debate? May I impress upon your political wisdom to take this debate forward, please? May I impress upon your political wisdom to take this debate forward?
I wanted Navika to read out what the Prime Minister has added today.
Can we take this debate forward?
After the parliamentary debate.
Let's do one thing. Let's open it to our opposition. The BJP is there.
Please read
Those who are leaning to the BJP are there. Those who are speaking for the government are there. The opposition, ask your question. Gaurav Bhatia, lead the charge. Let Sambit Patra take your question one-on-one. What's your first question to the government? Gaurav Bhatia.
Let me, since there is Sambit Patra is a BJP spokesperson, then both of you are also...
Gaurav, get to the debate. Gaurav, get to the debate, please. Ask the question of the government. Ask the question of the BJP on the demonetization exercise, on Parliament. Let's take it forward. Let's take it forward.
Okay.
Gaurav, let's take it forward.
Bhatia doesn't have a serious question. Since Gaurav Bhatia doesn't have a serious question to ask Sambit Patra, let me ask Sambit Patra. Sambit Patra, the question that goes out to you is, you've spent 10 years in opposition. Okay, I'll come back to you, Gaurav Bhatia, but first, let me ask Sambit Patra. Sambit Patra, between 2004 and 2014, you spent 10 years in opposition. The worst record of parliamentary performance was between 2009 and 2014, where you allowed only 61% of the House time to be used up for any business. And what was the stated policy of the then leaders of opposition in both houses, Sushma Swaraj and Arun Jaitley? That disruption is a way of expressing democracy. Is the BJP in any position to raise questions about the opposition stalling parliament when you yourself has used disruption of parliament as an instrument of democracy?
Navika, it's a straight and a very good question. Let me answer that. Number one, well, yes, I still stand by what my leaders have said, that is disruption is one of the most important pillars of democracy. But disruption for what? We were cleaning the system then. We were standing for cleaning of the system then. We are standing for cleaning of system now. Remember why we were disrupting between 2009 and 2014, and what did the country gain? The country had the worst form of corrupt system then, where we saw the 2G, where we saw the CWG, where we saw the Colgate. And remember, the debate began not from the BJP side, but it began from the CAG report. When the CAG in fact calculated the amount that the country in fact had lost, the exchequer of the country had lost, and despite a demand for investigation into
it. So that gave you the right to stall Parliament.
The Congress was not looking into
disruption as a stated policy of parliamentary practice.
No, but you have to understand, debate and the ultimate thing is disruption. We had we had debated, we had discussed the fallout of CWG, CAG. We had asked them in these debates for the JPC because the CAG had already given out the amount. In this case, they have a speculation in their mind. Rahul Gandhi, with all its confusion, says that this is a scam. And that's why we want the Prime Minister to be present. Never had we gone into that kind of rhetorics. Today, because of the disruptions then, the country has benefited of lakhs of crores of rupees. We have seen the re-auctioning. We have seen the re-auctioning of the spectrum as well as the coal mines.
Dr.
And
Patra,
we have seen what the country has
Let's not
done.
divert from the
Today,
topic
what is
of
the
debate,
country
Sambit
gaining?
Patra.
Dr. Patra.
This is not a monologue on what you have achieved. You have won the
Dr.
election
Patra.
of 2014. Now you have to deliver on the promises you made. But Pavan Verma, let me come across to you. I'm most confused about the JDU's position. Is your position against the demonetization? Is it against the implementation? Are you demanding a rollback of the demonetization decision? What exactly is the position of your party? Because Nitish Kumar in Madhubani last week had very clearly said that wo himayati hai प्रधानमंत्री के फैसले के demonetization के फैसले के because that is the only route to fight black money and corruption. On the other hand, we see Sharad Yadav who's sharing stage at Jantar Mantar with Mamata Banerjee where she's demanding the rollback of the demonetization. So just what is the position of the opposition and is it to hide your own conflicts within your own party that you are creating all this drama in Parliament?
Okay, let me give you a quick answer. In fact, ours is the only stance which I think has been vindicated by all parties, including within the opposition. We support the government in its fight against black money. And to that extent, we have supported the intent behind the demonetization process. But we are unrelentingly critical of the preparation and the manner in which it has been implemented. And that's why we have enough ground to make common cause with the opposition. I trust that clarifies the position.
Point well made, Pavan Verma.
As regards what Sambit said.
But what about Sharad Yadav's presence where Mamata Banerjee is demanding a rollback?
Now this is the problem. This is the problem when we speak. No, Mr. I just said that creates the unity within the opposition. Within political parties in the opposition, there can be different positions. But all opposition parties are completely united in critiquing the manner in which this policy was prepared for and has subsequently been implemented.
Pavan Verma and Gaurav Bhatia. Sir,
Mr. Patra said.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. I'm just saying.
Just a quick response
on the implementation.
To what Mr.
On the
Patra
implementation
said,
exercise, what I would like you to do, sir, between you and Gaurav Bhatia, let's ask the government some questions, and I'm going to take the lead in asking these questions. First up to Dr. Sambit Patra, to Navika's straight question.
I want to ask Mr. Sambit Patra.
Yes. To Navika's straight question, Dr. Patra. To Navika's straight question, Dr. Patra, another cricketing analogy, you played all over it. But you didn't answer the question right. Because the leader of the House, when he was in the opposition, made a comment, and I am not directly quoting him, but he said that the onus of Parliament functioning rests on the government. Is it or is it not true that you have been unable to win the opposition and bring them to the discussion table and to get them to debate the issue and not disrupt the House? Is that not, does that responsibility not lie with those who are responsible of leading the House? And is that not a failure? That's my first question, and then thereafter Gaurav Bhatia, Pavan Verma and the others. Yes.
Yeah. So you're absolutely right when you state the rule, the procedure of the parliamentary system of India, that the onus lies with the government to see to it that the House function. Yes, the onus lies with us. But what do you do with such stubborn politicians, such stubborn opposition?
You were stubborn when you were in opposition.
No, Navika, I'm giving out the answer. Navika, I asked Pavan Verma ji, who was with us in the disruption during 2009 to 2014. Pavan Verma ji, keep your hand over your heart and tell me, those disruptions were wrong? You would say those disruptions were not wrong. And today you know, because Nitish Kumar is also supporting the stand of demonetization. You know as a common citizen of this country that the intention of this government is to clear the system of black money, to clear the system of terror funds, to clear the system to suffocate the actual funding. So naturally the intention is good. The Prime Minister himself has said, give us 50 days. And well, yes, if you have certain suggestions, I agree that there are certain inconveniences. The Prime Minister himself has agreed that there are certain inconveniences, and we have called upon you for the inconveniences.
Dr. Patra.
If your intention is to clear these inconveniences, please suggest, rise up, ask questions. Where do you do that? Not on the floor of the Parliament, but on the streets. Of course, on the floor of the Parliament, if that's what you support. You should be on the floor of the Parliament, asking questions to the government, giving you suggestions, and if you do not follow that,
yes,
please...
Pavan Verma, interject please, and after that, Gaurav Bhatia, before I go to MR Venkatesh and MB Rajesh. Yes, Pavan Verma, see, Dr. Patra, this asking the question and giving the
Very
answer,
quickly,
we do it. We as anchors here on Newshour do it. But you as guests are supposed to allow your opponent on the debate to answer your question. So, Pavan Verma, take the question, please, and you can go with the rebuttal.
Very quickly, I'll answer because I know you have other panelists waiting. First of all, on the intent, we give full marks to the government. But I'm afraid sometimes the quality of the implementation devalues the intent completely. Here is a government that overnight withdraws 86% of the currency. When it knows that 47% of the people are outside the banking network. Some 30 crore people don't have valid ID cards. 98% of the rural economy is based on cash transactions. It is at a very crucial moment in terms of timing when the harvest season and the sowing season coincide. And 80% of the entire economy is based on transactions in cash. Now, if you are going to take a step of this magnitude, and we believe your intent to do so, you must plan better. Every day, Sambit, there are flip-flops of the government. Sometimes the ceiling is raised, sometimes it is lowered. Cooperative banks are kept out of the picture, then they are allowed. Every day you see more and more definitive signs of confusion and chaos. In fact, the president of the Bankers Association...
Yes, Sambit Patra, just hold on to the answer. Gaurav Bhatia has also been wanting to ask a question. So quickly, Gaurav Bhatia, sorry, we have limited time. So let's get in as many questions as we can and we can get the voices from the government to answer. Yes. Gaurav Bhatia, quickly your question, sir. Your next question, and then Dr. Patra, you can collectively depart. Sunil, Alagh and MB Rajesh can come in.
Anand, I have been hearing changing of goalposts by Navika and you. Let me just tell you that the highest number of disruptions happened during the 2009 to 2014 Lok Sabha
your question,
and Rajya Sabha Parliament.
Let's come to the question
already asked,
the
Gaurav
BJP
Bhatia.
was, I'm just giving you 3 examples and maybe Sambit can then answer, what was the conduct of the BJP. In 2005, Sushma Swaraj ji was the leader of opposition, and the Parliament was disrupted because they wanted an
Sir, we don't have the time to go back into the past, and what they did then does not justify the behavior today.
My only question is
on the demonetisation.
That the Prime Minister...
Presuming that Gaurav Bhatia
is answering the question.
Pavan Verma.
Allow him, Dr. Patra, please.
The Prime Minister is ready to speak on any subject. Now, here is a subject which concerns every citizen of the country. We have lost 70 human lives.
Right.
And the opposition parties...
But he is ready to speak on this as well.
Okay. Dr. Patra.
Dr. Patra. He is ready to speak on this as well. It's been an assurance given by the Leader of the House and Finance Minister on the floor of the Rajya Sabha. Where is the doubt that the Prime Minister will intervene on this issue or not?
The Prime Minister.
He has said that he will.
No, we want the Prime Minister to give an assurance to the Parliament that he will. My question is, why is he running away from actually making a statement?
Let me answer, Navika.
Can I answer the question? It's an assurance already been made on the floor of the House. It's an assurance that has been made by the Leader of the House saying that the Prime Minister will intervene.
See, as far as let me answer both Pavan Verma ji as well as Gaurav Bhatia. Gaurav, I have got your question. Let me answer that. As far as whether the Prime Minister would participate in the debate or not is concerned, he has already participated in the debate in the sense that he was present in the House yesterday, he was present in the House today, and yes, in fact, Mr. Jaitley said that he would intervene. Now you saying that before any one of us
Will you
speaks,
give
the
an
Prime
assurance?
Minister should speak. This is unfounded. Gaurav, I was listening to you. Let me answer. It is unfounded that you say, even before the questions are put, even before the member of the opposition speak, the Prime Minister should first speak. This is changing of goalposts. This is like you began your debate on 16th of this month, saying that, well, yes, let's debate. And thereafter on 17th you say, no, we change our goalposts. Now coming to Pavan Vermaji's question, Pavanji, it's good that you have asked certain questions over here on the Newshour debate. Why don't you ask these questions on the floor of the Parliament is what we are debating on tonight. If you say that these are the list of the inconveniences, don't you think this would have been helpful if your party, if the other opposition parties would have asked the similar question on the floor of the Parliament, allowing our tall leaders to answer you rather than the spokespersons of the party talking to you over television? But this is what you are doing. You are not asking questions on the floor of the Parliament. You want all the questions to be answered on television debates. Is this parliamentary democracy?
Well, gentlemen, we'll have to cut it short. We've got very little time.
Quickly.
Pavan Verma, 15 seconds, sir, and MR Venkatesh, closing comment. Yes.
I'll give a 20-second answer.
Yes, sir, please. And I'll count you down. I'll have to literally do that. Beg your pardon.
First of all, Anand, please look at the parliamentary records of the first day of debate only, where the Prime Minister was conspicuous by his absence, and you will see the number of constructive suggestions that were given. The Prime Minister did not come for the debate or
and they were followed. Remember, the marriage suggestion that you gave was followed.
Survey. So just...
No, Pavanji, the suggestion was followed, remember.
Dr. Patra, no interjections. I have limited time, sir, please.
I didn't interrupt you.
Okay, gentlemen, I can't extend this. I'm sorry, we can't extend this. But Mr. Pavan Verma, you have made a point that you're saying why... You're saying
that... So that everybody is supporting him.
This is changing of goalposts.
Correct.
This is changing of
Pavan
goalposts.
Verma, I think the Prime Minister has decided he will be there in the House if there is discussion tomorrow. MR Venkatesh, quickly, sir, final point, sir, final 30 seconds. I'm sorry, we are way over time.
Final point. Yeah.
Anand, the government did have made, government has made 24 different changes to the scheme. That itself proves that the government is receptive to ideas and it is constantly listening to people. And now if the opposition leaders like Mr. Pavan Verma stand up in the parliament and give some good suggestions, I'm sure the government will take it. But if we take it, don't say that the government is doing a flip-flop. Say that the government is receptive to your ideas and is quick and is dexterous.
Point well made, sir. Sunil, Alagh, final word.
Two, if the Prime Minister has dug a political hole,
one last point.
Up to the political parties.
You're way above your 30 seconds, Venkatesh. Closing comments from you because...
Look, 1 second. Can I just... I'll just sum up.
Yes.
Yeah, just 1 second. We've got your point, sir. Oh, God, yeah.
Sunil,
we've got your point. All I'm saying is, I criticized the BJP then. I criticized the BJP then when they were disrupting the parliament, and I criticize the opposition today. Do not devalue this question of for one day you can disrupt it. Doing it continuously is bad. This Prime Minister, would you rather have a Prime Minister that speaks or a Prime Minister that acts? We have a Prime Minister that acts. Every suggestion made, even tonight, the cabinet has taken some decisions on the suggestions of the opposition.
That's right.
Please, Pavan, take a look.
So
here's the Prime Minister who acts.
Allow us this.
Law of diminishing returns will set in, and that's my comment to the opposition parties. People are watching, viewers are watching. You need to take the parliament in control. You need to raise their concerns and questions on the floor of the House, because that is the opportunity the people of this country have given you.
Well, action begins here on Times Now. Let's hope the debate and discussion on demonetisation also begins here and the din ends. We look for a fruitful Friday in Parliament. That's what the viewers want. The questions that the likes of JDU, Samajwadi Party and even the left raised, they need to be answered by the government, but they need to be answered in a sense of decorum, in a sense of discipline, in a sense of discussion and debate, and not disruption. Thank you very much to all our panelists. Thank you very much for joining us this evening.